The views and opinions on this show are for entertainment purposes only. The only factual information is any story that has happened to AT2 or the parties involved. Other than that, go ahead and get you a drink, get you something to eat, just relax and enjoy the show. Let's have fun. All right, y'all, let's get real. What's up today, everybody? And I got my microphone because today I'm going to be Bishop, Prophet, Senior Pastor AT2 today. Because if everybody else can scam, I can scam too. And we're going to talk about a lot of scammers today. What's up, everybody? But welcome to a brand new episode of Talk the Real Deal with AT2. And yes, I'm your boy AT2. And welcome to the show. Make sure you guys use the hashtag TTRD for Talk the Real Deal with AT2. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Let me say what's up to the people before we start, before the Bishop, Prophet, Senior, Pastor, Preacher starts talking. Excuse me. What's up, Andrea? Thank you for being here. Shout out to Andrea Nelson for being here. I ain't seen you in a minute. Thank you. And thank you for the happy birthdays, too, as well. What's up, Casey? Shout out to my big bro, Casey. And shout out to you hosting an event in Dallas. What's up, Heart of Inspiration? Thank you for being here. What's up, Demetria? Thank you for being here. Happy holidays. Yes, happy holidays. What's up, Queen B. Moore? Thank you for being here. Who else? I love seeing all the green. Shout out to all my members. And I did post the link up top. It's pinned up top if you want to become a member. I know for the iPhone, you can't join the membership. It's weird. Now I understand what you guys are talking about. What's up, Winnie? What's up, Miss Curiosity? Thank you for being here. Who else we got here? What's up, Zenobia? Thank you for being here. Oh, not Daddy Jakes. What's up, Kylan? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you as well, too. What's up, everybody? Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you already have it. And yes, if you'd like a blessing today, make sure you hit the Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or send a super chat, super sticker, and I will pray for you live on camera so you can get your blessing just right now. Hold on, let me put it up. Let me change the background. All right, there we go, y'all. So, as you guys know, we're going to talk about TD Jakes. We are going to talk about Manasseh and Larry Reid as well, too, because now that I had time to actually watch some videos and kind of, mind you, there's a trillion billion videos, so I haven't caught up on everything. But now that I've watched a lot, I'll say that. I watched a lot, Queen Shay, and I was all like, yo, I have to come back to these people and give them a new perspective because something's not right. And there's a few things, and shout out to Stephanie Collins, my cousin. Stephanie had brought up something to me that was interesting. She was all like, what is the crime that TD Jakes committed? Because here's the thing. I feel like we can throw things out there and we can throw allegations against him. But if nobody is filing like any kind of lawsuits or police reports, it's kind of hard to say, okay, this guy is a criminal and he should go to jail. So what, so far as I understand what TD Jakes is being accused of, is being a power bottom. And I had explained this to you in my first video. And so, what a power bottom is, did y'all put the kids to bed? 30 seconds. Put the kids to bed. Put the kids to bed. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. So, the power bottom is your grandma listening. Oh, I don't want to say it. Okay. So what I understand what a power bottom is someone that likes being thrashed repeatedly. Just thrashed. Just thrashed. And I guess there's some kind of enjoyment or some kind of fulfillment from it, but they just love being thrashed. Mary D know what I'm talking about. Happy holidays, Mary D. But yeah, they just love being thrashed the whole time, just being thrashed. And so this is what TD Jakes is being accused of, is being thrashed repeatedly. And like I said, if there's anything freaky going on, his wife knows about it. His wife probably helps to cover it up. Remember we talked about Hunk for Jesus with Regina Hall and damn, I forgot to get the name of the dude, but he was on that one TV show. But this is the allegation that he goes to Diddy parties and they have freak offs and stuff like that. Now, there are pictures of him and Diddy. However, do we know for a fact that when he went to Diddy house, he was at the freak offs and, all those kind of things? They are photographed together. So it's like things that we hear, but okay, is that necessarily true? But you can see that these powerful millionaires hang around each other. The Tyler Perrys, the TD Jakes, the Diddy's, they all, Sterling K. Brown. Thank you. Hunk for Jesus. Make sure you guys check that out. I think it's still on Peacock. But these are the things that you see, like these powerful people hanging around. You're like, what kind of connection does Diddy and TD Jakes have? The Tyler Perry, you can see Tyler Perry and TD Jakes having some kind of common interest, right? But Diddy and TD Jakes, like, how do they have anything in common? Like, that's what oh, Stephanie, are you a power bottom? You can go ahead and let the people know what it is. So Stephanie's a power bottom. She's gonna explain what that is. But as I understand, you just get thrashed. that's what the people say. You just get thrashed. That's the best way I can put it. But anyway, going back to my initial point. So he's being accused of, like in extracurricular activities. But I'm just trying to see, like, okay, well, does that relate to him being a freak and liking extra things going on? Or is this more of like a business money thing? People with a certain amount of money all hang out with each other and they could be doing some kind of project or something. Heart Inspiration said something about Revolt. Jakes was connected with Revolt. See, yes, I'm thinking him and Diddy had more of a business more than a freak off. If TD Jakes is doing a freak off and he doing what he do, he's doing that on the side. He's not doing that. He's not doing that with Diddy. I think he's doing that on his own. Like, that's his own fruition and everything like that. He loves being pounded on his own time, not with Diddy. I don't see that happening with them. I think it's more of a business, more of a money thing. That's just me personally. So anyway, So, is he committing a sin because adultery and all that stuff? Yes, he's committing a sin, but we haven't seen him yet actually commit a crime. However, then we get Manasseh in the mix, and he kind of does this like subliminally post or video where he's not mentioning, oh, my ear was itching. Maybe that means I'm gonna get some money. A subliminal message, and it's kind of like, okay, well, where's it going? Because you didn't necessarily mention a name, but the timing is everything. The timing dropped after the whole TD Jakes allegation, and so I kind of wanted to go to his video and just play the audio because these preachers, prophets, pastors, they all striking everybody. So we just gonna play the audio. What's up, Jessica? Are you back from vacation? I think it's more than an issue around deception and preaching, one thing and living another. Folks tend to have expectations of these religious leaders as they should live with a higher standard. Yes. Yes. So I'm thinking, and that's my thing, Jessica. It seems like what we're getting is more of a personal issue in like his character flaws than he committed a crime. Because it seems like people are making it seem like he committed a crime. No, he just likes being thrashed. He just likes being thrashed every now and again. What's up, Melanie? Shout out to everybody on Facebook. Hey, y'all. What's up, Cora? I see you too. But he just likes being thrashed. Like, that's not a crime. That's there's a lot of issues with it, but it's not a crime. I'm glad. Hopefully, my family ain't watching this. I hope they're. Oh God, how am I going to explain it? And by the way, I had to show like how much money I was making for my friends to stop asking me to get a real job. I'll talk about that behind the membership. But this is the first initial video where he was kind of exposing the whole grooming thing.
2024 is going to be the year of exposure.
What's up, Carol?
And God is exposing certain people. People that normally was able to use their power, their influence, and their money to silence people.
Put a one if you can hear it.
And before I hear people saying that, oh, this is some tear in the body of Christ, the Holy Spirit is a spirit of truth. So before you say, touch not my anointing, do my prophets no harm, that's a Nishian statement because that scripture is referring to Israel. You're taking the scripture out of context. And if the Holy Spirit is a spirit of truth, then speaking truth is not sowing tears. It's bringing reformation and healing. In my 20s, I got to be around some of the biggest men and women of God. And I got to witness things because I got to see them without their armor. One of the things that really happens and is seldom talked about is that there's something called grooming. And it happens in the Pentecostal church, it happens in many churches, but I'm referring to the Black church specifically. And what that means is that there will be a bishop.
I want to talk about the whole Black church thing, right? Because as I understand, Benny Hinn is like his mentor or whatever. And Benny Hinn is not Black. He's American Canadian or something like that.
Pastor, apostle, someone who has big conferences, everybody knows, oh my God, they're the holy man of God. And they will pick their victims and they groom them. And it first goes through stage one where they ask you questions. What are you into? What do you like? You need to tell daddy everything. And so they're using verbosity.
So he's talking about the grooming thing.
This type of garrulous narrative to try to make you feel
4 days ago.
To make you build comfort with their victim. And then from there it goes into stage two. And stage two is where it begins to become sexual. And it first starts by either making facetious jokes, making little statements, innuendos, and then it goes into the questions of what turns you on? What do you like sexually? You need to tell me this because I need to know, because I need to be able to pray for you. So it's almost like a psychological.
Correct. These are all allegations. No one has actually came forward and said, yes, this happened to me, or he did this and that. It's all been speculations. We're going to get to, what actually happened and who's accusing him of what. We're going to get into that.
They're playing with you. And in your head, if you say something wrong, they project it on you. They body shame you. Oh, you're too sexual. Oh, look at your body. Oh, you're the one that's making me do this. Oh, and so you have that in the back of your head. And then you also have in their head,
I agree,
dumb, misinformed followers who are pushing this predatory narrative because they're
so. You said dumb, misinformed followers.
Like them, either worshiping them or not worshiping God or worshiping their denomination or where they come from. And so they're not even there seeing with the eyes of truth, but they're there seeing out of carnality. And so they're sitting up there and they're protecting them. And the leader, the bishop, the pastor, they know this. And so they know and they feel invisible. Oh, I can get away with this. I just have to make a statement to my church. I just have to tell them. And they're never going to question. Why is it so many people? Why is it always coming up? Why is everybody lying? So everybody's lying. Where there's a mouse, there's mice. And then it goes into the third stage. And the third stage is where they try to become intimate with you. And if you do not allow this, they drop you. They treat you like you're nothing. And they abandon that young male or that young woman. But from my experience, I can only speak from a young male point of view. They abandon that young male and they treat them like they're nothing because they didn't acquiesce to what they wanted sexually. And they look for another victim. And they know they can get away with it because their followers are not people that love the Lord. They worship the pastor. They worship the bishop. So they're not seeking for truth. And so this is the day and age that we're in. And I still believe that there are believers that do not worship personality, so to speak. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're bishop this, prophet this, apostle that. But they really love the Lord. And so they really...
And ain't nothing wrong with marijuana. I just want to let you know that, Kylan, if you ever felt guilty.
The spirit of truth, which is Jesus. And they really are about that. And so they can see past that. I want to say to victims that might not have a platform or might feel like you're going to be judged. You can't say nothing because this is what they try to tell you. You're going to be judged. You can't say nothing. You're sowing seed of tear. You know, God is the judge. Yeah, we know God is the judge, but God judges people also through legal systems.
Hold that thought, Stephanie.
Also through other people. There's a group of Christians, and we're here, and we believe in you, and we're here to support you. And if you've been feeling in your heart that you can't say nothing, now's the time for you to speak out.
Yes,
this is
true.
Group of Christians that are not worshiping celebrities. They're not worshiping how big someone's conference is, who they are, or their name, or their notoriety, but they believe in truth, and they're here for you. And I'm not a victim, but I'm someone that is speaking truth to help victims that have experienced this to say.
Okay, so here we go. So he posted this on Instagram, and then he put it on. I'm playing this through YouTube, which is fine. But the timing was when all the TD Jakes stuff was really coming strong and heavy. Now, Manasseh didn't say anybody's name in this initial thing, right? But then people were kind of putting two and two together. So then Larry Reid, yes, we're going to talk about Larry Reid. I know he's some of y'all favorites, but we got to be honest. Larry Reid goes live and he was all like, yeah, Manasseh was talking about TD Jakes. And so here's the thing about Larry Reid confirming that Manasseh was talking about TD Jakes. I believe if you're going to make a strong allegations about somebody grooming somebody, then Manasseh needs to be the one making that allegation. He needs to be the one to say that, and not through Larry Reid. Larry Reid being the one to say it, but then not having Manasseh say it himself or do it on his own platform and name names. Because I believe if Manasseh wanted to name a name, I feel like he would have done it at that moment. And Larry Reid did say that he was not, Manasseh was not essayed or anything like that. So it seemed that he was propositioned or allegedly propositioned by TD Jakes, but he didn't take the offer. And that's why he was saying, oh, when he's basically talking, when you refuse, they get mad, or sometimes you feel like you're in a financial state where you have to do certain things. And, remember you guys told me last time, this is Bishop Bernard Jordan's son. So yeah, he didn't have any kind of financial struggle or anything like that. So he did have the power to say no. Now, again, I have to go back to Larry Reid because like he said, like Larry confirmed that, oh yeah, I talked to Manasseh. He said, yeah, it's TD Jakes and stuff like that. And then he said he was doing a documentary. And then the thing about the documentary, he's saying that he wants to make it about all pastors, all preachers, and stuff like that. And so I'm like, oh, okay. But again, I feel like these are those people's stories to tell. If they want you to tell their story, they will tell it themselves. Because I think TD Jakes still has a stronghold on people to where they feel like they probably can't talk. Like, has anybody else came forward? Like when I was watching Larry Reid, he had people in the comments saying things, but like, did someone actually come forward and say, like, hey, I was one of the victims of TD Jakes? And again, I'm not saying TD Jakes is innocent or he hasn't done anything or nothing like that. My thing is always that the actual victim has to tell their story. The actual victim needs to be the one to express themselves and tell their story and tell what happened to them, and not through another party. Do we have a clip of Larry Reid saying that it was Manasseh, or Manasseh saying it himself? The information is being gathered and verified right now. Okay, so basically they're making sure that everything is going through the legal process before they put all this information out. Because there has not been a lawsuit filed or anything against TD Jakes as of now. What's up, my brown skin Barbie? Thank you for being here. And the reason why I bring this up is because Manasseh is giving me Christian keys. He's giving me Christian keys with the subliminals and putting stuff out there without putting a name on it. It's one thing to say, oh, someone stole my cheeseburger. I don't know who it is, but they might have green hair. That's something stupid and petty, right? But I feel when it's something of serious allegations about grooming people and stuff like that, you more so need to put a name on it. That's something that you need to, if you don't want to tell your story, don't tell your story. That's completely fine. But don't have someone else tell your story and do it through another source or party, or we're going to put together a documentary. And then when you say, oh, we're going to put together a documentary, it makes it seem that it's just about the money. And I think that's also too why I have a disconnect with the church, not from religion, with the church, is because I just see it all about money. Like I don't see any. This is going to be a strong statement. I think at the end of the day, church is a business and it's all about money. And I don't believe anybody has like a good heart. Like I feel like you can just read your Bible and you can just take scriptures and basically draw your own conclusion and preach it to the people and be like, oh yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Because I feel like the Bible in whole is everybody's interpretation of what it is. So when the pastor preacher is preaching, they're giving you their interpretation of what they believe the Bible is. That's why everybody doesn't have the same script, or it's kind of like you have the bases, but everybody kind of goes off into their own thing, because they would all say the same thing if they all was preaching from the same thought process. Okay, I'm going to have to bow out here. If you're not in this world, you don't understand. People would accuse them of being about the money, no matter what. Well, no, if Manasseh came out himself and said it, I wouldn't accuse him of being about the money. They also tell you to read the Bible for yourself. Yes, exactly. I think it's important to read the Bible for yourself. Exactly. People have been ruined for coming out in the open. Victims have not been historically believed and properly received like they are now. Yes, true. I know we've talked about that before. Like now, I feel like it's open for anybody to come out and say whatever they have to say. I feel like beforehand, of course, um, before people felt you weren't going to be heard or believed. People were just going to look at you like, oh yeah, you're making that up, or we didn't believe victims. And then it kind of straight to like, okay, just believe everything. But I still think that you can have an opinion. Like you don't have to go with the masses and agree with everybody. Thank you, Angie. Yes, you have to read it yourself. And especially with online too, because now you actually don't even have to have the physical Bible. You can just read it online. That young man. Are we talking about Manasseh or somebody else? What's up, Deborah C? Thank you for being here. If we're talking about Manasseh, no, he should let it out, but he should tell his own story. Why does Larry Reid have to tell his own story? See, that's where I disagree with you on. He should tell his own story, not Larry Reid tell his story for him. Now, if he's going to come out and tell his story, that's completely fine. Okay, so then there's part two because he posted another video yesterday. Where is his second video? Oh, there was just a video 22 minutes ago. Hold on. Okay, let's listen to this one.
So I've been talking about predatory behavior and the effects that it has on people psychologically, emotionally. And a lot of times when you're in it, you're not aware of it until you step back and you realize that. And that's been happening like a lot of other victims.
Put a one if you can hear it.
Just recently today, I've heard from two other victims that this is a lot to talk about, that experienced the same thing that I experienced. They were younger. And it's very hard to talk about these things because most of the time people get overshadowed with the gift of that particular person. Oh, they're so gifted. They're a great singer. They're a great preacher. Oh, look what they did for the community. But gifts and callings come without repentance. And two of the offenders were not only a victim of grooming, as what I described in some of my previous videos, but of SA, sexual assault.
It's low.
From the same predator.
Let me try to play it from the computer. Hold on, you guys. Bear with me. All right. Let me try to do it from the computer. I dropped my laptop the other day, you guys. Okay, so what I'm listening to so far, he's saying that there's two other victims and they were actually SA'd. But I have not heard him say TD Jakes. I have not heard him put a name on it. And again, this video was 22 minutes ago. I was not aware that he put out this video. So this is kind of like All right, we'll try to play this from the computer. All right. I believe something happened to Manasseh, and however, yeah, I want to clarify. I don't know if Heart of Inspiration already left. I want to clarify. I'm not saying nothing didn't happen to him, but he has to be the one to tell his own story. Yes, the speaking in codes. And it's the saying it, and that's why I said it's that comparison to Christian Keys. It's the whole saying it without saying it. And it's all like, no, we can't do that whole saying it without saying it thing and giving context clues and stuff like that. And then having people guess because, like I said, when the Christian Keys thing happened, we threw out a whole bunch of names. I even said a name and people were all like, oh, AT2, you can't say that name. Like people were even questioning me for saying other people's name, but I was like, well, hell, he didn't say who it was. So he just said, a powerful man, a billionaire. So I was like, oh, then this is a billionaire. This is a billionaire. This is a billionaire. And I was just naming billionaires. And so again, it is my own fault for naming names, but it's also a part of my job to try to put the clues together. That's why we're here right now, Okay. And also too, I was trying to find like pictures of TD Jakes and Manasseh together. Like I was trying to find like pictures of them because from like articles that you'll read about Manasseh, they said Benny Hinn is his mentor or his mentee. Benny Hinn. And I'm gonna play a video of Benny Hinn too as well. But Benny Hinn is his mentor, his mentee. I didn't see anything about TD Jakes, and I couldn't find a picture of them together. Yeah, what happened to Christian? He's not saying nothing now. Right, he went completely silent. He's not even mentioning it anymore. Okay. And you guys, I'm just pulling up the video right now. And so when he was talking about the black church, I was like, okay, well, I know he would know about it from his father, but that doesn't seem like that's your market. Like, I'm not trying to be prejudiced or anything like that, but it's kind of like, okay, well, I don't know if that's like, again, I don't know. Okay, he did start out at the Potters. Okay. Thank you, Smooth. And shout out to everybody in Texas, by the way. Mm. The Holy Spirit. And again, it's stuff like that the televangelists, because I'm gonna say something controversial. The people like a TD Jakes, the people like a Benny Hinn, the people like Manasseh Jordan are televangelists.
So I've been talking about predatory behavior and the effects that it has on people psychologically, emotionally.
Okay.
And a lot of times when you're in it, you're not aware of it. You step back and you realize that. And that's been happening with a lot of other victims that have been contacting me. Just recently today, I've heard from 2 other victims that, so it's just a lot to talk about, that experienced the same thing that I experienced. They were younger. And it's very hard to talk about these things because most of the time people get overshadowed with the gift of that particular person. Oh, they're so gifted. They're a great singer. They're a great preacher. Oh, look what they did for the community. but gifts and callings come without repentance. And two of the offenders were not only a victim of grooming, as what I described in some of my previous videos, but of SA, sexual assault, from the same predator that groomed me and that violated me as a man. They're going to be pressing charges. And as much as this is an uncomfortable conversation to have, especially with people who don't know what it feels like, so it's kind of hard to be in someone's shoes, and other people who say, well, why now? Why now? Because they don't understand the emotional, the psychological effects that it has on someone. I know two of the victims which shared their story and went through very similar things that I went through with the same predator, are ready to press charges, and they said that they will press charges.
That's an interesting perspective. Okay, you trusted some person speaking on mine due to the closeness of the offender.
This is ministry. And this is what it means to bring healing to the brokenhearted. Because stuff that people held in for years are finally able to speak and to be heard.
Okay. Let me stop sharing that. Okay, so again, he stated that he talked, hold on. Let me show myself. Okay, so he stated that he talked to a couple of victims. I don't know if he said one or two. I think he said both of them were SA'd. And you could tell that he was emotional. Like, I'm not saying that he's faking or he's not thinking that he's trying to play us. You know, more of the money thing, that's more related to the whole Larry Reid doing a documentary. I want to clarify that. But again, in that clip, he did not himself mention a name. Again, my thing with this is coming to social media and talking about it. It would be different if you did not want to share your story and you say, hey, can you go ahead and, you can go ahead and share my story for me. That would be one thing. But this is now the third video of him alluding to and saying something without putting a name on it. My thing is, after a while, if you're going to keep going to social media, just like with the Christian Key situation, if you're going to keep going to social media, then you're able to speak about it. There's things that I would not talk about on social media, and I don't. But this is something that you're talking about on social media. This was something posted on Instagram, and then you transferred it over to YouTube. And if this is more of a conversation like, hey, I'm speaking of all victims, I want all victims to come out. I think we want I could say probably 99% of us say, yes, victims should come forward. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with that statement. Victims should come forward. Yes, put a 1 in the chat. I would agree with that. Victims should come forward. But also, too, you can't string us along with the whole, okay, well, I'm going to post this on social media, but I'm not going to put a name on it. And this whole, I'm going to give context clues, or I'm going to tell someone else, just like Manasseh has Larry Reid to tell his story. Christian Keys had Claudia Jordan and Funky Dineva basically hinting like, oh, y'all know who it is. Oh, y'all know who it is. And then, but they didn't mention necessarily Tyler Perry, but they said, oh, y'all know who it is. But with the other situation with Manasseh, Larry Reid is saying, well, yeah, he's mentioning TD Jakes. Yeah, y'all already know. And so it's like, well, damn, like, and again, whatever is being worked on behind the scenes as far as filing charges or trying to um, get something rectified, which should happen. If this is true, it should happen. However, I think before a statement or something is because I know some people are saying, like, oh, you guys are reporting on it and you guys are sensationalizing it. Oh, Stephanie said something about sensationalize. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I know people are saying, oh, well, you guys are reporting on it, so you're making it worse, or you're judging them or sensationalizing it. And so, like, well, what are they like? You don't consider them sensationalizing it either? Not necessarily Manasseh, but you would consider like Larry Reid is not sensationalizing it. If we're gonna be fair, we gotta be fair. You know? Let me get Southside. Um I'm of the opinion that you should go to the authorities and stay off social media. Yeah, exactly. That's really my point. Because I don't want to make it seem that we're shaming victims or shaming people. You need to go to the proper authorities, and especially with something serious. Somebody stole your cheeseburger out the refrigerator or something like that. Who gives a about that? Who gives a flying about that? But someone grooming and essaying and all that stuff, that's something that needs to be reported to the police. And so these people are coming out with these stories publicly, and they're giving context clues and stuff like that and telling third parties all this stuff that's going on. And it would see, and that's the thing too. And we're just having a real conversation right now. If somebody told me a story about them being groomed or SA'd, I'm not then gonna come online and be like, "Oh yeah, I know, yeah, oh yeah, I know about that," or "I know, yeah, I know who they talking about." Ooh, we can't wait until we gonna drop this, or we gonna do a documentary, or that's more of my issue with it. And that's not saying that should absolve TD Jakes from any wrongdoing. If there is something that he did wrong, that's not absolving him for anything. But hell, just putting it out there. Okay, well, what else is there? Because my thing is that, okay, is the documentary like the only thing that they're doing? Is it just the documentary and that's it? Or is there going to be, police report, lawsuit, all that kind of stuff? Okay, I'll go ahead and drop the link. They feel less comfortable going to the police because when they do, it gets real. Oh, thank you, Queen B More. I like that. I like that perspective. I can definitely respect that. And again, I respect everybody's opinion. I don't want y'all to feel like I don't. Because I will say social media is therapy. Yo, I remember back in the day, I used to write these long therapeutic posts on Facebook and stuff like that. I go back because you know how your memories show up and stuff like that. I go back and be like, "The hell was wrong with me? Like, why would I put that stuff on social media?" What Queen getting reposted over and over and all over the internet and scrutinized even more is far less easier than speaking to the police. Oh, J990, you have a good point. Because when you do come out publicly, I feel like you have to deal with the consequences of people's opinion and everything like that. And again, nobody here is wrong. Sometimes saying it out loud is scary, and if it comes with shame and fear, it's much harder. Yes, yes, that is true. I do that too long. As police. Having to deal with the church who had a child's SO in the church. Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay, so in the church and pastor, pork chop, deacon, pig feet. Oh my God, pig feet, prophet, hog mog. The church doesn't care. I was told be angry and sin, not cause how I reacted. Wow. Oh, the post. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The internet is scary and cause more grief than release to most cause it's public. Yes. Okay, RL. Oh, Larry Reid. Okay, did say going to the police was pointless. RL just want the money. Oh, he did say going to the police is pointless. I'm gonna have to go back and watch his full video and see that. And Tasia, I'm not saying you lying, but I definitely want to hear that for myself because then that kind of makes what I'm saying. Yeah. What's up, Stephanie? How you doing?
What's up, cuz? What's good?
Nothing much. Go ahead and give us your opinion. You got the floor. It seemed like you had a lot to say.
So, first of all, I wanted to enlighten the people, including my cuz here, on what a power bottom really is, because I have my sources in the gay community, as I would, and we don't have this term in the lady loving community, but I got my sources in the gay community, in the male loving community, right? So here's what I've been told by people who consider themselves power bottoms. Okay. So
wait, hold on. Let me do a 30-second countdown so we can get the kids out the room. Hold on. 30-second countdown, you got. Take the floor, cuz. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing about power bottoms. It's a little hard to define because it's sort of a euphemism for how someone approaches being, how a male who has sex with men approaches being the receptive partner, what we would call the bottom, right? And it's something that is typically, even in the gay world, is often mocked. You're called the bottom to, minimize you, call you less of a man. It's kind of a joke, like, oh, he's a bottom, he's a messy bottom, he's a bottom, he's a bottom, he's a bottom. And it's kind of like everybody says, no, I'm a top, and for real, on the real, Stephanie Collins is a top, but I just don't have sex with men. But a power bottom is someone who is a man who is the receptive partner of someone we would call the bottom, not because of any sort of because he's typically in the positions, he's on the bottom, right? It's somebody it's a man, who is very proud of being a bottom, very masculine in his bottoming, who's very like, I'm a bottom, screw y'all, that's who I am, and y'all are gonna love me. That's, y'all want me, and it's like kind of being dominant while still being the bottom.
Oh,
so okay. It really doesn't have anything to do with specific kinks or BDSM or striking type kinks or anything like that. It's more about like basically being like, I'm proud of being a bottom. Y'all love this. Y'all love me. I'm here, and y'all, all the men love me. Kind of as a bottom instead of being ashamed of it.
Right. Thank you, Heart of Inspiration. I actually played the video Go ahead, Stephanie.
So I just wanted to kind of clarify that because I know kind of you've been up there
TD
hitting your
Jakes is just
microphone.
a bottom. He's not a power bottom. That's what you're
Oh,
saying?
I don't know. I don't know. He could be. He could be power bottom. I wouldn't be mad at him about that. See, the thing is that I'm not mad at TD Jakes is gay. You know, that's not it. It's just because I'm a Christian myself. I don't believe being in a same-sex orientation or a relationship is sin. I could go on a whole rant about why the Bible is being misused for that purpose. You know, the chat could cancel me and be fun. I won't do that. But I do think that pastors are required, if they are married, to be faithful to their spouse.
Yes,
And
that is the actual sin. Yes.
And if he's not being that, then he's disqualified from ministry, point blank. And so, you know, he just say whatever's going on, his orientation, who he likes to be with, I don't care. Just, you know, and if he's not married, he shouldn't be doing it. And if he is married, then he needs to be faithful. That's just the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, you know, and I don't necessarily hold every Christian to that necessarily, but it is very explicit in 1 Timothy that you are supposed to be faithful to your spouse. That's it. If you're a minister, you know, and so, I mean, everybody's supposed to be faithful to your spouse, but it's very specific that, you know, husband, or if you're saying like more universal, a spouse to one spouse. And it's not just that it's a sin, it's a disqualification from ministry. And so if he's not being faithful, he needs to sit down until he can get faithful.
Yeah, because Eddie Long had to step down.
Right. Well, you know, that was actually like criminal abuse, you know.
Yeah, that was definitely criminal. It was a lot to that. And there's a comparison. At first I wasn't going to do it, but I think I am going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. There's something in comparison to when they gave their speeches regarding their allegations and how the crowd was reacting. And I want to play the contrast between them. But that's going to be a different story for a different day. Something that I didn't bring up about TD Jakes. So I do believe that where there's smoke, there's fire. And the reason why is because besides just Storm, there has been a lot of other channels being striked by TD Jakes' team and stuff like that. So it's going in unison. They getting everybody up out of here.
Yeah, and I think that's also a bad look for a pastor in general. I don't care what the allegation would be. You know, you are supposed to be above reproach. And if you are striking people's channels and trying to stop stories about you, I think that is, it's not honest, it's quarrelsome, and it's not beyond reproach.
Right.
And so,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, and also one other thing about kind of what's bothering me about the sort of vague allegations we've been hearing is that I wonder, and maybe it's not my place to speculate, but I wonder how these men are feeling as they watch the bloggers and the viewers kind of scramble around trying to figure out who they're talking about. I wonder their feelings on that. And I hope that it's not something they're doing for malicious purposes. That's all I want to say. Sorry, my phone's ringing.
Right. Like I said, I don't know. And like I said, I'm not going to say Tasia was lying, but when Tasia made that comment that allegedly Larry Reid said it's better just to do it this way than to go to the police. If that is true, then that confirms my suspicions about everything that I've been thinking. And I think we're kind of on the same wavelength that this sounds like cha-ching, cha-ching, a money scam.
And, you know, I don't even know if it's that necessarily. I don't even know if I'd go that far. Or maybe it's just, maybe they're in too deep. You know, maybe he went live and then all of a sudden it went pop, you know, Christian Keys. And all of a sudden it started popping off and he was like, oh, no, I don't know what to do with this story now. I wish I'd never gone live. I'm not saying that for sure. But, you know, maybe it's like I don't know how to draw this back, and I don't really necessarily want to say more. So, people are out there trying to figure it out, and he doesn't know what to do necessarily. I don't know, but I just wonder how it feels for them to be watching us trying to figure out what they're saying.
Okay, I'll make sure to watch it. Tasia, do you know about like a timestamp of roughly around when it was? Because I do want to hear. I do want to hear that part. Go ahead, Stephanie.
I just, I mean, we're kind of in a. It just seems too serious for us to be in this sort of like media scramble to find out who the bad guy is. And it just sort of, I think it's sensationalizing it. I think it's tabloidizing it because we're out, who's the child who's the child abuser? Who's this? Who's that? And it just seems like it's feeding the blogs trying to figure, and not you, cuz, but it's just feeding this like media frenzy surrounding them. And
Right.
I just wish that we could get out of this cycle somehow, because I just don't think it's doing anybody any good to just keep speculating on what's actually going on.
Right. And I think for me also too, it's not necessarily Larry Reid, but it's the way that he went about it. And like I said, that was Manasseh's story to tell. And I'm not saying that Manasseh is not a victim, but that was his story to tell.
Right. And I hate to say this, but
in the same video, let me make this last point. In the same video where he, talked about it, Manasseh was talking about TD Jakes. He said, "Well, we're going to start doing a documentary, and it's not going to just be about TD Jakes. We're going to do all pastors." And it was all like, "Well, how you jump from that? Then, man, I hate that this happened to him." And I don't know. I just think that should have been more compassion, and then maybe did a follow-up video with we're going to do a documentary or whatever he wanted to do. I think that should have been two separate things. I think when it's a serious allegation like this, there needs to be sorrow for the victims, then a police report, and, handled legally. And then, once you've done all that and that's handled, then you go about and doing your documentary or whatever. Because I ain't going to tell you don't make your money, but it just doesn't look, it's not clean. Something's dirty in the milk. Go ahead, Stephanie. I'll shut up for like 2 minutes.
I mean, it's scandalizing it. And I just think it's too serious it's scandalizing it in a bad connotation. Like, it's scandalizing it like any other, like Jim Baker and Jessica Hahn. Y'all are probably too young to remember that, but like any other televangelist, tell any other like 80s televangelist fleeing with a woman or whatever. It's almost giving that, because it's like, ooh, bad guy. And like I said that before, like, oh, who's the bad guy? Who's the one that's being bad in the pulpit and all that stuff? It just feels like it's getting to be like a tabloid level of speculation.
Mm-hmm. That's how I'm feeling too.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily think they need to file police reports. I don't necessarily think they have to do anything in particular. No, I mean, I don't think anybody's required to do anything given, any specific circumstances. And there's consequences, there's benefits to anything you want to do or decide to do. But I can say that this just doesn't feel right to me.
Right. And I do want to say, I don't think all victims should run to the police. That's not what I'm necessarily saying, because, it is a lot for them to go to the police and just having to regurgitate and tell their story. Definitely. I know that. But my thing is the whole social media aspect and coming out and then saying it without saying it. That's more of the back and forth that I'm getting. Did you have anything else to add, Stephanie?
Like, I think I just hit a good word for it. It's creating a media circus surrounding this.
Yes.
It's creating a media circus. Yeah. And I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't mind. I will absolutely listen to any and everyone who comes out as a survivor. That's not it. It's just, if I'm going to listen to you, please tell me what it is you're saying. I need to know what it is to believe.
Right.
If I'm going to believe you, what do I believe? What am I believing right now? I don't even know what I'm supposed to listen to or believe. I'm not sure, like, what you're asking me to. If you're asking me to believe you, what is it that you're asking me to believe exactly?
Kind of like, what's the next steps?
Well, and just what is the story that you're asking me to listen to you tell? I just don't like. I'm not sure what exactly it is we're talking about here. You know, that's kind of.
Yeah. I think what the message is like trying to get people to not come out and tell their truth, but basically exposing the dirty ins and out of the church, and especially when it comes to the whole grooming thing. I think that's what the point is supposed to be, but the message is getting it's confusing.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And you know, I do want to say before I go that I think a lot of times I have seen things from a white perspective, obviously, a Saltine perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen exactly what y'all are describing in the white church. And so I really hate, and it feels bad for me to hear, you know, the problems in the black church, the problems in the black church, the problems in the black church, because I feel like y'all are being too hard on yourselves. Like y'all are you're pathologically,
yeah, because do we not think Joel Osteen is a...
Yes. I mean, he's cheated on his wife for sure. I'm not even gonna, you know, and I grew up in the white church, a very, very strict, I was very devout Southern Baptist in the country, in Oklahoma, the buckle of the Bible Belt. And I've seen the youth ministers have the deacons bless their marriage to.
I'm gonna bring up heart restoration. I know, Stephanie, I was trying to get you off so I can bring her on, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish your point.
Close and personal. I have seen it up close and personal. That's all I want to say.
Heart restoration, are you there?
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I just saw you were at an hour, and I know you like to try to hold to an hour. Yes, I was like,
no. Go ahead, because I wanted just to let Stephanie finish up, and then I was going to bring you on.
Yeah, no problem. Listen, I know and can appreciate the confusion everyone's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what people don't understand, and I'm just going to tell you, just y'all, whoever don't know me by now, I've been in ministry now for 25 years. I'm 55. I got ordained when I was 30 years old. A lot of the people that you have seen on TBN over the years, if y'all, know about a lot of the famous folks, I have either been involved with one or two of their events, at least, have had opportunities to, work with them, and so on and so forth. Some of the bigger names that y'all know, some of the lesser names y'all might not know. What I can tell you is this: much like when these things were coming out about the Catholic Church and the Catholic priests and things like that, and whatnot, back then when that was happening in the 80s and the 90s primarily, we did not have social media. There was not this huge platform. Okay? There was not any, it was extremely difficult to get this information out and to get other survivors to come forward. Because yet and still, and even today, it's better today than it was then, but it was always looked upon as this was the man or woman of God. How dare you say these things against them? How dare you this, that, the fourth, and the fifth? And you were not believed. Point blank, end of discussion. You were not believed, whether it was the church or whether it was outside the church, because there have been things that have happened to me over the course of my lifetime. People did not believe me. And it did not happen in the church. However, I have seen the grooming, all these things happen within the church. And unless it's kind of like any type of professional group like police officers or doctors or whatever, there is this, you don't talk, right? You don't talk. And you don't tell, and you don't, all of these things, you just don't do these things. And because no one believes you, the shame of it being same gender, the people then looking at you like, well, it must be because you like that person, or you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many layers to this. So for people to even come out now, we cannot, this is my feeling, while I understand how, you know, this is so confusing and it feels like a media circus.
Mm-hmm.
You can only, even if you want to tell part of your story, you have to be very careful how much of that story you're telling, because defamation is a real thing, A, and B, y'all might not want to believe this, but people either come up missing, or their whole entire everything, their livelihood is just snatched immediately if it's not done in the right way and done carefully. All of these things that are coming out now are coming out because we have social media, and because finally people know that they can depend on people like Larry Reid, like some of these other platforms, to be able to come out, tell their story, and then they can begin to unfold it. Because people like Larry have, you know, what they call, you know, F you money. It doesn't matter. Like, they can say whatever they want to about him. He gonna be all right. He's going to be all right. And a lot of times, a lot of what you're going to hear that's coming out is well past a criminal statute of limitations. And sometimes I will tell you what happens is that these survivors, it's presented to you in a way that you don't, it's like, well, no, this really isn't SH, or this really isn't SA, or this really isn't this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a mind screw. And that's what I think that people aren't getting. It's not as simple as we would like for it to be. It's not going to be neat and tidy for us. And I appreciate what Stephanie said, and I appreciate, you know, I appreciate your point of view, everybody's point of view. I might get a little heated because it's like, no, y'all have no clue how bad this is. Y'all have no clue how bad this is, and how much it has permeated all of your faves. I mean, the money that's been misappropriated, I mean, you have no idea. So for this to be able to happen at this point, I think is historic. And yes, it's going to feel like everybody and their mother, like, where am I supposed to turn now? That person too, that person too. Yes, because all this truth has to come out.
Right. Like, I was all like, yeah, this is going to open up the floodgates to a lot. I know I'm skipping ahead, but someone had I think it was Key mentioned that there was evidence, but has any of the actual victims put a name on TD Jakes, or is it still stuff being worked out behind the scenes? Because I played his video, and he said there's 2 other people that came forward, but they were actually SA'd by the same person. I'm still not hearing them say a name.
Because some people are choosing not to. Some people are getting their lawsuits together as we speak. And there will be a name on those lawsuits.
Okay. So do you think that Larry Reid should be the spearhead on this? Because my thing is still, the victims need to come out and say it themselves.
I think that we have to be very careful about what we say a victim needs to do and what they don't need to do. Okay. So is Larry Reid, I see a comment about him being, I'm not representing him as a gatekeeper or anything. There is a relationship there. So that's how that happened. And Larry has been very outspoken about things that have happened in the church. There are other people out here that are helping folks as well. Okay. It's just, they might not have as large of a platform.
Okay. Because in the same video, he mentions about Manasseh, but then he also mentions a documentary. I think that should have been 2 separate videos.
I think it was just, I was literally in that live. It literally was, the idea came to him in the midst of everything. It wasn't as malicious or as contrived, premeditated as it's being presented. It was
Okay.
not.
And what about the comment about the I forgot what Taja said. Something about, he said it's basically alluded to, we can't do anything about it, as far as like legal or going to the police. We might as well just.
Exactly. He said that, and I'll tell you the context in which he said it.
Okay, yes, please.
There are typically there's statute of limitations on anything criminal,
Mm-hmm.
which is why, if y'all might remember, why the T.I. and Tiny accusers could not go and press criminal charges, and then they ended up waiting until the civil as well lawsuits could no longer be filed. There's statutes of limitations on things, right? And what he said basically was, and if y'all may remember, if you really were into it, the Bill Cosby case, the reason why that person ended up going civilly at first was because the DA told that woman, and maybe a couple others, that there was not enough beyond a reasonable doubt evidence for them to be able to say, I can for sure win this case. And in a civil suit, it's by the preponderance of the evidence. So the evidentiary bar is lower, right, wrong, or indifferent. So his statement was that if you cannot do this criminally because of whatever reasons, that you may as well get paid for your pain. Do I agree with that? No, not necessarily on its face value.
Oh, so like do a civil suit.
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense, because I was thinking like he meant like, let's do this documentary. Like that's what I was all like, okay, I'm gonna have to listen to that for myself. Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah. And I know certain crimes, like I keep saying, crimes, I'm not saying all crimes of this nature have no statute of limitations, and it's also based on the state in which it occurred.
Yes, the state.
And it's also based on whether or not it could be federal, because it happened in multiple states. So there's a lot of nuance to it.
Right. And it also depends on if they traveled from one state to another state. And that's how you get the trafficking. Because at first I was all like, how does everybody have like trafficking in it? But if you're bringing somebody from state to state, that's how it comes with the whole traffic. Yeah. Like I learned that recently. I was like, oh, that's why they always say trafficking, because when I think of trafficking, I think of like somebody kidnapping girls, and then, or it doesn't even have to be girls, and then selling them. But it's not exactly that.
It's
a part of it, but it's not.
It could be a number of different things. It could be a number of different things. So, I mean, and people can listen. I just know a little bit more about what's going on, so behind the scenes with things, and I can just guarantee you that idea for that, it has been kicked around about whether or not to do something like that, of course, based on, the surviving R. Kelly, situation, and then you have 50 that has literally started to put together the documentary. He literally did start it. But the idea for this happened there on the line, and I'm literally watching the mind go, right? So it happened right there. Again, this wasn't malicious or premeditated. Okay. So, I mean, people can, it is what it is. It won't be being done through the ministry. So.
Okay, good.
It will not be being done through the ministry. So
yeah, because that part kind of threw you. Like I was like a document, and then knowing that because like I said, it was like about an hour and 50 minutes, I think his live was. So I listened to the majority of it, and I was kind of like in and out. So there was parts that I probably didn't catch. But like you were saying, Heart Inspiration, you've been in that field, so you know from firsthand stuff that has gone on. So you have a whole different perspective from seeing it yourself.
Right. And I understand why people haven't to this day come forward. I mean, and if you all had any idea what was going on in the 90s, had any idea what was going on in the 90s while these people were rising to fame and rising to glory and rising to all this stuff, you'd be disgusted. You would be disgusted, which is why I never went so far, because I refused to do certain things. Not that I was proposed to do certain things. I'm just saying I was not willing to pay that quote unquote price to have that type of fame. So that I'm it's disgusting. So that's all.
It's sad when you think about it. How, um, this is gonna be controversial, but I feel that sometimes you're even afraid to say anything because it's gonna be your livelihood, and not just your livelihood. Sometimes it's your life if you say anything.
Absolutely, because when you get that level of power, you do not want to give that level of power up if it was not, especially if it's not attained fully in an integral fashion. You don't want to give it up.
Right.
So I don't know. That's all, I'm doing a pamper day, so I'm gonna have to leave y'all alone. I got things to do. I might be back later.
You have a good one, Heart Restoration, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, dear.
All right, thank you. Love you.
Thanks, love you.
All right, let me let on Couture Bay here. What's up, Couture Bay? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me?
Yes, you look good as always, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You look refreshed.
Thank you. I am. I got time to spend with my family. I came back from Dallas. I'm back at home, but that's whatever. But, but I'm here. I'm here entertaining the people. We here. But what you got to add on to what everything that's going on?
I feel like this Manasseh Jordan is a powerful man himself. He comes from a powerful family. I believe there's a lot of interpersonal relationships, because it just, to me, it came out of nowhere. And I'm not saying he's not telling the truth, because when I say stuff like that, people are like, oh, you don't believe him? I believe him, but he should have receipts. He should have receipts. He's young. Like, it's during a time where you would have a cell phone, something, right? He hasn't posted them. He's talking about.
You feel like he should have had like some receipts and stuff like that while.
Yeah, because, my thing is this: do you want him to go to prison? He can go to prison. I feel like this. I don't want, whether we like them or not, get them off the streets. I will never understand the Blues Clues. Let's play Inspector Gadget. Let me give this whatever, and then I'm gonna run the Patreon to spill my tea for $12.99, like Larry Reid did for the Carlton Pearson funeral. To me, it's just, I don't know. And I don't think Larry Reid should be spearheading it, because when a documentary was done on him, he was shutting down platforms. He was removing channels. He was suing them. Yes. That's not allegedly. That's not because you know. So I just feel like when it was done to you, Larry, you didn't like it, and you was doing everything in your power to remove the people up off of the internet space of talking about it. From, I don't even have to say their names, but I just think it's weird. I'm not absolving TD Jakes of anything. I just say, where's the receipts? I don't like hearsay, because it was a lawyer who said it very eloquently, like very pristine.
Yeah. Eloquently.
Yeah, listen, I got Louisiana education. It was beating me up.
I was struggling to say it too. Don't worry.
I just feel like this in 2023, we need to see the receipts, because hearsay is not going to do anything. I don't care if you get your money. Get your money, right? But what about federal? You don't want them to go to prison. You don't want them to serve time. You want these powerful, horrible people to stay in their positions of power. I will never understand that. I've always been one, like, if we're going to shake things up, shake it up. And I'm speaking from experience. I was one of 10 at my agency to speak out and nobody,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? People was like, "Oh, we don't believe you," and they escorted the man up out of the building. So
Mm.
I know what it's like to be like, do I want to tell? But at the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong, and everybody has a boss. Everybody has a boss, and
Right.
there's checks and balances in place. And we can't say we want the church to be this thing when y'all want to keep the predators in place. The reason why Bishop
Mm.
Eddie Long was able to do what he did was because people really didn't believe anything until the receipts came out. Now, of course, there's going to be some diehard Christians that are just going to believe the pastor. But I remember being in Atlanta, seeing him with the
Mm.
boys at the Intercontinental, and I keep saying that because that was one of the hotels and that he frequents. I When you don't really know, you're like, oh, there's Bishop Eddie. Hey, Pastor, blah blah blah, and you see the kid. Nobody's like, I'm in danger, so it's like in plain sight, doing the deed,
Mm.
right? So I get it. I understand it. I also feel like we have to have receipts because if we're going to be getting paid for our pain, which I don't have a problem with, put it out there. This person did this. Boom. Because if you ask anybody who's been subjected to that type of whatever, they issued the names. Everybody says they want to pull a Cassie, but they never pull a Cassie. It's giving
Right.
Christian keys all the way. And I'm like, Manasseh, what do you want out of this? Do you want him to go? Like, what is the end game? You know, he's saying these sheep in wolf clothing, but your daddy was over there playing reindeer games with Larry. I mean, it's the truth. Bishop Bernard Jordan, I feel like if we're gonna tell it all, tell it all. Like, let's not just, it's like they want to protect certain people. No, why are we protecting everybody? Tell it all.
So it's the picking and choosing that's the issue for you. Like if you're
Yes,
gonna tell it all.
yes.
Okay, so I want to say something about the receipt thing. So if I understand, he was very young, and so he might, because honestly, to tell you the truth, the whole groomer and grooming, I feel like that's a new word. Like, has that been out since like the 1700s? Like, I feel like that's a newer word. So he might not have known what was happening to him because, oh, this is deep. And I don't know if he was a child at the time, but usually children don't know what's happening to him unless it's like, oh shit, how do I say this appropriately? Unless the act is being done, you don't really know what the little ins and outs are of, like, when it's not exactly stuff happening to you. It can be more mental, or maybe like a touch. You might not understand it until you become an adult. So that's probably why he doesn't have any receipts or anything
Well,
like
he
that.
said he had receipts. That's why he was going to do it on Patreon. That's what I like.
Okay, so that's why everybody was talking about the evidence and stuff like that. It's on Patreon, because I was like, as far as I know, Larry Reid was the one who said the name. Like, I
Larry
didn't hear
said the name.
Manasseh say it himself.
Larry Reid said the name, and Larry Reid said there's receipts. And so Manasseh said he was going to do it on Patreon. I'm not paying for nobody's tea. I just don't believe in that. I feel like I can
Oh.
content creators, but I'm not about to support your alleged tea, because why do I have to go to a paywall to get it when somebody else is going to get it and put it out there? I've yet to see a text message, whatever, but I do know there's text messages with Larry and Levante. You know what I'm saying? And all the other accusers that he sued. So it's just weird to me. I don't know. I don't think he should be the one to spearhead. Heart of Inspiration to spearhead it because I feel like she's a good woman. She's classy. It's too many
Ooh,
men. It's too
yeah,
many men. The men are doing the praying in this instances. It needs to be a God-fearing woman who don't
a
care nothing
woman.
about Kojic, who don't care nothing about these leaders. Somebody we can trust, because I don't trust Larry at all based off the evidence I've seen. I don't trust his minions. I don't trust Bishop Bernard Jordan. Like, it's always something with these men
Yeah,
who are exposing.
he's. I think my issue in, like, this is me taking out the whole, hey, Gigi Darling in the chat. This is me taking out my personal feelings about him. I feel like Larry Reid is just too close to the situation.
And it's given bitter. Like, it's given, I didn't show up to Carlton Pearson's, the acclaimed pastor, the reverend, you know what I'm saying, to his funeral, and now you're mad. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. And see, I didn't really do any research on the whole Carlton Pearson thing, but it seems like a lot of the issues stem from that. Like, I've been hearing like little things, like a lot of the issues with everybody is stemming from that whole situation. And I'm all like, okay, what is really going on? I'm gonna have to do a deep dive on that and really see what's going on, because it seems like everybody's fighting, blocking each other, and I'm immersed in this church stuff now. I'm like, oh Lord.
I'm telling you, the Kojic world is so crazy. And then to add on top of it, the mega churches, because you got Reverend Ike over there. He said it wasn't Reverend Ike, right? He put a name on it. That's what Manasseh said, right? But then it's like you didn't put a name on nobody else. I'm just, I don't know. I feel like, and I don't want to come across as not empathetic,
Insensitive.
or insensitive. When we're talking about SH, Me Too, all that, pray, groom, whatever the buzzword you want to use, how come we always have to give grace to these people to just do it however they want to do it, right? But we can't have grace that these people might be innocent, right? Because nobody has brought forth the hardcore receipts. Everything is hearsay. Like, everything has been hearsay. Even with Christian Keys, everything has been hearsay.
Right.
Nobody has had tangible, something we can feel, hardcore evidence as this is what it is. Everything is from third party. Everything is second party. Where are the receipts? Because
right.
I feel like this, anything in the 2000 and up, there's some type of documentation. Cell phones was popping. They was popping from 2000 up. Manasseh Jordan is not old. He's like in his like 20s, 30s.
I think he's 35. I think he's like the same age as me.
So he's our age. He has proof. You have proof. I had a cell phone since I was 16. So I've had social media since I was like 16.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've kept everything where somebody has done something crazy to me. Him not keeping something like that, and this is somebody who, mind you, was big in the night. You didn't keep anything. I just find that very hard to believe, because even what's her name? Monica Lewinsky kept the dress.
Monica Lewinsky.
I'm just saying.
A few things. Like, I still go back to, I don't know what age he was and if he would have known what was exactly going on until now. But something else that I wanted to mention was, necessarily, I think we're not saying that there's a proper way to do it. It's more of the toying with I'm gonna post this on social media, the exposing the church. In Manasseh's title, it says exposing the church.
Okay.
It's like this toying thing. The same thing with Christian. It's the whole toying with I got some information, but I'm not gonna give it to you all. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna pull back, and then I'm gonna let y'all just scramble around and talk about it. And then we're kind of left like, all right, well, what the hell is going on? That's the actual issue. It's not even Larry Reid saying that, putting a name on it. It's not even that technically. It's the whole, okay, it's hard for me to tell my story. I'm telling it, but I'm giving you like this social media, the soap opera play about it.
Like, it's like a spoonful, like he's spoon feeding us. And here's the problem, because the church world is a different world. I'm from the church world, and I don't participate in anything with it, right? But I remember when the heavy hitters got hit, people they never thought would have got hit. When those people came out, they did not play these games. They said, this is what happened, boom. Here's my proof. Did they get their money? Of course, right? Of course. But guess what? They wasn't doing this like tactic. To me, it's very cloudish. And And I don't even like saying that because, you know, you're allowed to tell your story however you want to tell your story. But at the same time, we're sick and tired. This is not
Right.
1993. This is in a few days, it's going to be 2024. We cannot let people keep doing this. We've seen people do this, and it's been lies. It has been lies, but there's been truth,
Right.
some half truths in there. And I'm like, I don't know. I want to support, but how can I support you and you won't even support yourself? I like to quote it back to like everybody being mad at Ray Rice being honored by the Ravens, but his wife is still standing beside him. What do you want me to do? Still standing beside him. It's just so weird. I don't know.
Yeah, that was the elevator situation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember that. Something that I wanted to mention too was Larry Reid did say Manasseh was not he was never essayed.
Yeah, he did
So
say that.
it seemed like the propositions that were thrown at him, he rejected those, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so with him now saying that there's two he did a video like 22, well now it's like 40 minutes ago, well shit, over an hour now. But he said like there's two other people that came forward and they were victimized by the same person, blah blah blah. And my thing, and he said those people were actually essayed. So what makes me think is that he kind of threw out the bait, and now there's actual people coming forward and victims, because if somebody propositions you, I don't think that's the case. Just like with Christian Keys, he only said the woman actually touched him. Remember, touched his junk. But the men, he said they got in bed with him or, try to press up on him. That's somebody being aggressive, but I don't know if that's necessarily considered
harassment in the workplace.
Harassment. Okay, sexual harassment. That's what that's the word I was looking for. But I don't know how far that would go if no one actually did anything to you, and that there's you get what I'm trying to say?
Harassment is very cut and dry, but you can get somebody on that. There's several people who got taken down with just harassment alone and not the essay, the full act, right?
Thank you for educating me on that. Okay.
No, and because I deal with those, I've dealt with those cases. I don't want to say I deal with. I've dealt with those cases. You can get somebody on harassment very easily because you're supposed to have a certain level of professionalism. And I'm sure TD Jakes being this preacher back then, there was some type of laws because he answers to a board of trustees. That's why I was saying the other day, the board of trustees forward. So with a response. So there has to be something. Like I believe if they had concrete evidence, they would ask him to step down. They haven't seen the concrete evidence yet. Maybe these victims are never went with the concrete evidence because there's ways of doing things. There's more than one way to skin cat, but guys, there's more than one way to take somebody down. Okay, to catch a predator. That is a real thing. So
and Gigi kind of made my point. I think I was talking about unwanted attention versus sexual harassment. That's what I was trying to compare to it. And so I'm not saying that sexual harassment isn't real. What I was trying to draw is like, okay, well, what constitutes, unwanted attention versus sexual harassment,
Yes, and these laws have been in place since the early 80s. People are just now getting caught up on them, I guess, legal wise. And again, I'm all for the victims, but I feel like the victims, they have to fight for themselves because Larry fighting for them, Manasseh fighting for them, that's not going to do anything. What that's going to do is make it sloppy. It's going to look salacious. People already think Larry Reid is, he did that. Oh, the Kojic church just don't want to hear it. When people was coming for you, you didn't want to hear it either. Like, I don't understand the lack of emotion when it comes to the shoe is on somebody else's foot. When you was going through it, you couldn't see how people were, you know what I'm saying? And then you did this quiet settlement of, oh, I'm just going to sue you for $1,000 with Levantre. But you didn't sue Tasha K, who brought it to the forefront. And it did all that, right? I don't know. It's just, and then you got mad at Bishop in Mr. Bling Bling.
Oh, Whitehead. Yeah.
Because he actually released the recording of the man talking about. I was out here doing a lot, participating a lot. I just feel like we have our picks and chooses. I personally believe right is right, wrong is wrong, but I always say a lot of people fall in the gray because they have their natural bias for people, and that's cool. But these victims, they need to pursue federal crimes too, because why would you want you get your money, they're gonna go on and live their life and continue on. Lock them up. Why do you want them around other people? Because people are not going to believe it. The reason Bishop Eddie Long was able to do what he was doing because he cut the check. And a lot of people were like, oh, they don't believe it because they think it's a money grab. Oh, they just wanted some money because he was cutting them the check. They didn't pursue anything. But guess what? One of the victims said, I got this thing in my body I can't shake.
And again, I think also too with the statutes of limitation, like I think a lot of people are. I don't know what it is in Dallas. I know California has the extension, and then New York has
have
one.
The statute of limitations, but when it comes to trafficking, they do not. That is a federal crime. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, trafficking is not okay.
They're using these words. That's a fed crime. You can't traffic nowhere in the world. So I'm like, why are we not activating the FBI to get these criminals up out of here?
Right. But as I understand, I guess there is something coming in the works as far as like things happening behind the scenes. But again, I think that also speaks to, okay, that probably should have been worked out behind the scenes and then bring it to the forefront. And then, okay, boom, we got it. With the back and forth and up and down sideways, that's where it becomes confusing.
It does, because TD Jakes has a team. Potter House has a team. This isn't just this is my thing, I made it. No, there's other people involved. Like I said the other day, if you're gonna come for this man, you gotta come hard. You can't come like tiptoeing around. Like either say it with your chest or don't. And that's where people are like, well, where's the proof? When Cassie came out, she was willing to put the pictures. That's what she said. I will post pictures, right? That's what it said in the law. With the Harvey Weinstein women, they had pictures. Oh
no! Still can't hear you. That was TD Jakes. He took out her internet. Her internet is gone. TD Jakes came and shut that down. Oh man. And and I appreciate Katorbe's opinion regarding Larry Reid. Personally, for me, I did not think that here's the thing. Did I believe that he essayed or possibly groomed Levantre? I didn't believe it myself. There was like some things where I'm all like, okay, both stories can be true, and I think they weren't telling the full truth. That's kind of like what I got from it. And so, but it does make you think like, okay, well, somebody did a documentary out there. Now you're going to try to go to listen, the YouTube game. Come back, Katorbe. What happened? It's one thing, you want to go after Levantre and Tasha K and Whitehead, but TD Jakes, like that's a beast right there. TD Jakes, and I didn't mean that like in a physical way, but TD Jakes, his power and everything like that. Because have the TD? No, not. I don't think Biden, but I know because Biden's a Catholic. But I know Obama, he had ties. When you get in that political field, okay, let me let Katorbe on. But when you get in that political field and you tie to presidents and stuff like that, you got to be careful with messing with them people. Like, this ain't no Levantre or Tasha K. Like, Larry, you better watch out for this one.
Almost definitely. Like he's tied to some pre-court justices. He has judges, lawyers. He has lawmakers. He has humanitarians. He has tech. Like he's in everything. So I think it's important to understand that. And I get it. He's a powerful man. Any powerful man can come down. What was it? Mr. Swagger was brought down to his knees, and he was one of the, when you start researching your like top tier leaders of the faith, nobody thought he would have been brought down, and look what happened. But those people around him, the entities around him, have to be willing to give him up as well. And I don't think they're willing to give up TD Jakes because, again, they haven't seen hardcore proof. It's not like with R. Kelly, there was hardcore proof. There was like
right
something. That's what got him this second time was the pictures. And then that documentary from Lifetime with Miss Hope, right? Dream Hope.
Mm-hmm.
That did a number. You gotta lose the people, and then they can really take you down. And I don't think people are willing to give up TD Jakes, especially because they haven't seen anything.
Right.
And that's no shade to anybody. I just feel like if he victimized somebody has proof. People keep a hold of things for whatever reason. We've seen it. A lot of people just don't give up on something that was traumatic to them ever. Like, I don't know what that's about, but in a lot of cases I've seen, they normally have something that dealt with something. And hopefully they have it, and hopefully they're willing to fight for theirs, even if they just get the money. You can't expect people to 100% believe the victims, because if you're just getting the money, where is the justice? Is the justice the money? Is that it? Like, I don't know. It leads.
Yeah, people won't be happy either way.
Yeah, so I feel like, why protect them? I'll never understand that. I don't believe in waiting. I believe, like, I don't care how powerful the person is. Your voice is powerful. Your voice can be heard around the world. Scream from the rooftops. If someone did something to you, you should be actively saying it, because what's this protecting them for? What are you protecting a predator for? Why do you care about their peace of mind? F that. They took something from you. They stole it, to be exact. And why are we keeping thieves amongst the law-abiding citizens? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Scream from the rooftop all day, every day, with your receipts. Make their lives uncomfortable. Make their lives a living hell on earth because they did it to you.
Give them hell.
That's how I feel about it. And to all the women and men, I love this quote. Well-behaved women rarely make history, and they're supported by bad-behaving men. There you have it. Summer drop down. Thank you, AT2, for letting me up. I can't wait to see you in April.
Yes, I'm excited. And make sure you guys, it's the 26th through the 28th, right?
Yes, we're gonna do it's Friday to the Monday. Everybody should be leaving on Monday. I don't know what day that is, but so that way we can party, live it up. But yes, I can't wait.
I know, I'm excited, and I can't wait to eat at them buffets too. Love you, Couture. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you.
All right.
Make sure you guys check out Couture Bay. Make sure you guys check out Heart of Inspiration. What Miss AT Elliott now gonna want to come at the end of the damn show. Come on now. What you say? I am still kind of lost. I'll wait. Hey, Couture Bay, I'll give them hell when I see injustice. Yes. If it's true, TD can file a defamation law. If it's not true, TD, yeah. That's the thing. Like, you bring up a good argument right there. Let me put Andrea's comment back up. You bring up a good argument, because it's still like, okay, with somebody like a TD Jakes, you might have wanted to have this more strategic. It should have been more a strategic thing before. Like, I think the way Cassie did it, that was very strategic. That way, if something happened to her, we know why. This one just seems like, okay, we're just going to throw something at the wall, and then now we're going to take care of it later. We're going to take care of the situation later, and not. Yeah, I just don't like the approach. I get the point, but I wouldn't say people don't tell out concern for protection. People don't tell for so many different reasons. Right, Miss Marmar? Thank you, Miss Marmar, for that comment. I agree with that. Yes, people don't tell for different reasons. But again, I want to make sure that we clarify before the show's over. What we were talking about was more of this social media game of like spoon feeding us. That's the word that Katorbe used. Spoon feeding us and like giving us little tidbits, and then kind of just leaving us like, all right, well, what the hell's going on? I don't think all victims need to come forward. Like Stephanie was saying earlier, because that's a hard thing to do. And then, as Jessica was saying, sometimes it's easier to go through another party for them to tell your story because it might be too traumatic for you to say it. I paraphrase what she said, but it might be too traumatic for you to say. Definitely agree with that. But the issue is like with these particular people, and I'm going to use Manasseh and Christian Keys. They are telling their story, but they're giving context clues, little breadcrumbs here and there. Oh, see, somebody just said breadcrumbs. Yeah, it's the breadcrumbs and like spoon feeding us little information. That's what we have a problem with. Not somebody, we would never, like, I want to clarify this too. I'm not saying, okay, well, victims should just get over it or they should keep their mouth shut. I am not saying that at all. I am not saying that. It's this whole breadcrumbs and spoon feeding. New York Chicken Week. I was trying to get your comments because I've seen some of your comments and stuff like that, and it was looking like you were saying something good, and I was like, damn. But I kept missing your comments. I apologize about that, New York Chicken Wing. But yeah, it's the breadcrumbs, the spoon feeding. I'm all like, okay, we can't do that because I've never known a victim to like go to social media and give breadcrumbs. Either they're silent or they speak out. But never this whole social media kind of talking in riddle and all this other stuff. Like this shit is new to me. It's very new with this whole, okay, well, I'm going to give you guys a few clues here and there, but I'm not going to tell you who it is or what I'm talking about. That's very new. Like I've never seen something like that before. And maybe it's because these two are men, and so we kind of think of it a different way, It's still the spoon feeding. Like that's what I don't feel. Yeah, it's like I don't know if I agree with that. And again, I'm not saying they're not victims. It's just the delivery and the way they went about it is the issue for me. They may tell a story but not give clues of who it is. This some new age trauma. Possibly. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and end the show. Damn, ain't nobody wanted a blessing from AT2 because if everybody else, if y'all are willing to pay people $5,000 for a prayer, y'all can pay me $5,000 for a prayer, but I guess nobody wanted a prayer today. But anyway, y'all, I love y'all for being here. Let me read Marmar comment. I completely understand the context. I don't agree with it either. But what these people are doing was nothing to do with protection. Okay. Thank you, Marmar. What did Melanie say? There was another Sergeant. Oh no, straight. I just think she's very pretty on camera. I've been in Jag and them face too long. Oh, you talking about Katorbe? Yeah, Katorbe is beautiful. Like Katorbe. Oh, I'm gonna say something controversial. Is Katorbe still here? Katorbe has to at least be in like I would even say the top 3 of the best looking people in the black tea sector. Top 3 best looking people in the black tea sector, because some of y'all is ugly. All right, y'all, we out of here. I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching the show. I will be back later. It's the end of the month, so I gotta go live like 10 times tonight. So anyway, get the extra money. But anyway, I'm gonna do a members live. Make sure you guys, it's pinned up on the top. Sign up for the members. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna set it up right now. In 10 minutes, and we're gonna do a members live. So Miss ATL and Stan, you're gonna have to catch the replay after the members live. I love y'all. Deuces. We out, baby.